Welcome in, everybody, to our Perry's Inside Scoop, getting you ready for Syracuse and Albany this week. Brian Higgins, Coach Babers with you as we get you set for the first ever meeting between the Orange and the Great Danes. And Dino, let's get into the idea of this. Fans in the Dome for the now second of 3 straight weeks. How much fun was it to finally have them back? It was the first time since that Wake Forest game almost 2 years ago last week.
When we ran out of the tunnel, the kids were going crazy. They were so excited, so different than last year. Obviously, you know, it was something that we wish we could have brought them the W, but their support was heard and welcomed, and now we've got to put a better performance out there so we can all end that thing the right way when the game is over.
You've talked about this, the idea that so few on your roster had played in front of fans. I know I talked to Marlo Wax earlier this week, and it feels like he's been here a while, and he said that first third down on defense was kind of amazing because he felt it out there. How cool is it for your players?
I think it was really cool, and there was a lot of players first game really in front of big fans. Williams, James, our punter, obviously, Trevor Pena. And now that they've been in there and they've heard the noise and they've heard the cheers, hopefully they're going to start settling down, and we're going to see that athletic ability come out in all those young players.
I got to imagine recruiting-wise for you, too. I know these guys, they came here to play in that building in front of people. It's got to be cool that you can show the future Orange that same thing.
You know, it's a little bit different than a high school crowd, as some of those guys have said. I think it was Deuce talking about how big the biggest crowd was that he played in front of. But we need our 12th man. We're glad the 12th man is back. And we're excited that we're back in the Dome and we're playing games.
How much does it help out your defense specifically?
With the noise level on third down and the quarterbacks having a hard time to communicate the check plays, which basically means they have to come out and run the play whether they like the look or not. I think it has a huge advantage for our defense in the Dome. It's probably the greatest advantage is when the other team's offense is on the field, our defense is on the field on third down, and that noise level goes through the roof.
Even better when it gets louder after third down is over. That means the play went right. That happened a lot this last week. A lot of TFLs on third down, sacks on third down, big plays. What did your defense do so well in those third down? And it was a lot of times third and short situations to get off the field.
They played free. They played recklessly. They wanted to do right. They lined up to do right, but the main thing is they were going to play with their hair on fire and they were going to let it go. And that's what we want to get the entire team doing, to be totally relaxed and to let it go. Let the chips fall where they may. We're not check swinging anything. If you see it and you think you can hit it, take a full cut and drive it over the fence.
Michael Jones led your defense again this week, double-digit tackles another time, ACC linebacker of the week. What step has he made this year from last year?
He's such a mature cat, and he's really part coach, part players. All the players love him. All the coaches love him. That guy could have a coaching career when it's all said and done, but I really believe that he's going to be playing somewhere for a while before he ever gets an opportunity to exercise his second job occupation.
Yeah, his first job's going pretty well right now, so we'll give him a minute. And eligibility-wise, he's still a sophomore. Look at these linebackers. You get the extra year back from last year, it's possible you could have this talented crew together for a long time.
For 3 years. And but the way they're playing, we'd be excited to have them for 2. But they are really playing at a high level. Coach White's doing a fantastic job on that side of the ball.
Quarterbacks, Tommy DeVito has started both games. We saw Garrett Schrader, he got it was the last 3 drives of the first half last game. But where are you at in your mind of looking at those 2?
You know, I'm at the point where this has to be it. We need to get 2 good performances and evaluations on those guys, and that when this game is over, we need to make a decision and have a starter and a reliever, so to speak. You know, the starter's going to get to play. The starter's going to get some reps. More reps in practice to sharpen things on offense. And if he doesn't play well, we'll always reserve the right to bring the other guy in. If the other guy plays so well in that game that he becomes the new starter, great. But we can't just keep playing 2 quarterbacks. It has to come to a head. So this will be the last week.
Are you looking for a certain benchmark from either in your mind, or is it just, hey, at the end of the game, one of them is going to have played better than the other one?
You know, I want one of them to just play better than the other one. I want everybody in town to blow up my phone and go, it's obvious, it's this guy, you know. And if it's not that obvious, then, you know, I'll have to make the call.
So we'll see how that goes on this Saturday against Albany. It's an FBS-FCS game. First ever meeting. It's just 2 hours down the road, but Albany's kind of been on the move up and only an FCS team now really for the last 20 years or so. How did this game come together, and how important is it for you when you're playing these games to play in Albany? I know Colgate's on future schedules. Wagner's down from New York City. They're on a future schedule. That these games are against New York teams.
You know, I think it's important. I mean, it's a money game for them, and why don't we keep our money in-house? I mean, we don't have to go spread it down south or out west and all these other doggone places. I think it's good. I think for the local recruitment and for our fans to be able to see some of the guys that played in high school around here and CBA and some other places coming back on some of these teams is really, really exciting. And I think it's good for the community and it's good for the state.
Tell our fans a little bit about this Albany team, Dino. They've got a quarterback in Jeff Undercuffler who's been there now for a few years, had a monster freshman season 2 years ago. And it seems like you talk about having parts, that they have at least some parts that can scare you.
You know, they got this quarterback's a 6'5" guy, a really big, tall guy that can sling the ball. You just can't bring him down really easy. Like you said, 2 years ago, he had huge numbers. They're off to a little bit of a slow start, but some people would say that we're off to the exact same start. We've won a game, they haven't, but that's the big difference between the two teams. Offensively, they've been okay. Offensively, we're still looking to get better. Defensively, they played extremely well, and defensively, our defense has played extremely well. I still think that we got to make sure that we're sound in the kicking game, and we need to make sure we win that facet of it, but I think it's going to be a game if we don't go out and handle business.
That is Coach Babers. We'll see him and the Orange at noon on Saturday in the Dome, Syracuse and Albany. And please do remember all the COVID protocols in place in the Dome. Masks on, stop by the tents on the way in with your vaccination or testing information. They'll give you the wristband, and you'll be able to get in and enjoy the game.